Alright, hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here investigating your favorite everything. And right now it's January 10th. I need to go to school very soon. And I'm also feeling a bit cold, but right now I'm going to be doing something that I am going to be doing and I have done every half a year. And that is the annual or biannual review of my own freaking life. You know, I review movies, I review music, I review TV shows and animes, but I also review my own life from time to time. And those reviews are vlogs. But if you have been following my channel for a while, you would be able to notice that lately I have stopped putting out vlogs on my main channel because I have started to respect my own privacy, and now that I have over 1,500 subs, I need to value my own privacy and also the way people see me and shit like that. So instead of doing vlogs in my main channel, I basically do these videos. So if you watched my round 3A summary video half a year ago, you would probably be pretty concerned for my mental well-being. So finally, the truth will be unveiled right now. So this is pretty much what happened in the second half of 2023. The video title is a recap of 2023, but really it's the second half. But I'm going to talk about the first half a little bit, just for a tiny recap. So the first half of 2023 was easily the most interesting part of my life since a long time ago. January, I was in Hong Kong, and in February, I came back to LA, and I basically experienced my final semester in the Santa Monica arc, if you will. And this final semester is the craziest, most emotionally devastating, most exhausting, and stressful I've been in a very long time. And mainly because of two things. One is Film 33, the class that I was taking, the most advanced film production class in my college. And the second thing is the girl that I colloquially call the monster, but because the monster has, I guess, negative connotations, and usually people use this word in a negative context, I guess the monster wouldn't be a very good word to use to describe her, but I still like to call her the monster. And not in a negative way, but in a way that describes her inhumanity and sort of her unhuman beingness. But these two things really stress me out, and from April till June, I was at an emotional low. I was crying a lot, I was constantly stressed out, I had sleeping issues in June, and it was extremely stressful, and it's kind of a miracle that I have survived. So, after these two, my washing machine is singing. Thank you. So after these two extremely intense and stressful things, we enter the second half of 2023, and we still continue with round 3, because from July 2023 to September 2023, I was still in LA. Now, let me give you a little bit of context. My plan was to transfer from a community college to a university, and so my plan was, well, I'll stop at May. I'll stop in May, and then I'll take a rest, have a nice summer holiday, and then in September I'll go to university. However, I was admitted to USC, which is great school. However, they admitted me for spring semester, so I can't go to USC until fucking January, which means that I have half a year emptied out. So I came up with a plan, and I've never given this plan a name because I'm not a cool person, but I should. And this plan is called the delay plan or something. Essentially what happens is I don't want to leave America immediately because I still have things to do. I still have unfinished business, loose ends. So I will leave. I'm an international student. I can't stay at the USA for 6 months doing nothing. They'll deport me. That's illegal. So, the plan is I'm going to take a couple classes in September, and on the last day of the ad drop period, I'm going to drop them all, and then after I drop them, they will give me 15 days to leave the country. 15 days. So, the last day of the ad drop period was September 10th. 15 days later, it's September 25th. So September 25th is the hard leave. So with this plan, I stayed in LA from July to September. Now, this period of time, it's basically the empty period where not a lot happens. So much shit happened in my life in the first half of 2023, especially in April, May, and June. These 3 months are truly mental health killers. July to September, in comparison, is the opposite. It's very quiet, kind of peaceful. First thing and most important is I was moving on from the monster. She really destroyed parts of me, and I've never been so emotionally devastated in my entire life. So I decided to take time off to recover from her. And not just recover, but move on from her. Like, I don't talk to her anymore. It's funny, I never blocked her on Instagram. I don't need to. I feel like I'm strong enough to not need to do that. But if I did, it would have helped a little more, probably. But I've moved on from her. I tried my very best to not think about her. And it is a period of healing where I just take care of myself, eat food, sleep, and do exercises, and just call it a day. Now, in this period of time, I also tried my very, very best to PA on a couple of short films because I want more filmmaking experience. And so, for the first time, I was actually a PA on a short film, a USC thesis short film. And it's kind of crazy because I've done script supervising. I've done producing stuff for my Film 33, but I've never been a PA, the lowest job position possible. And being a PA is fine. On that USC thesis film, I had fun. It was a very good set, everyone got along. But because I was just a PA, and my main task was to throw out the trash and organize the crafty table, and just guarding stuff, like I had to go to the rooftop of a house, of a soundstage house, and like guard a mirror for half an hour under the blistering sun. I felt very distant from the film set, and I didn't really enjoy it that much. And after a couple days, the producer emailed me saying that they don't need my help anymore because the crew is getting too big. Holy shit, not again. Not again. This is literally an ends and means reference. This is literally a Film 33 moment. But I respect that decision. And it's true. As a PA who doesn't have a car, it's very troublesome. They have to find someone to pick me up from my apartment, and they have to find someone to drive me back home every single freaking day. And it's annoying, and it adds complication to the whole thing. So that's the end of my first PA gig. That's early July. In late August, or I think mid-August, I went for another PA gig. Again, my friend Allegro, who's studying in USC, decided to introduce me to another PA gig. And this one is even crazier because apparently it's an AFI short film, or an AFI shoot. AFI is literally one of the greatest and most prestigious film schools ever. I showed up and I didn't know a single soul. I didn't know a single person, and I've never done this before. I'm really brave for doing that. Turns out it's not really AFI. The director and the producer are from AFI, but really the whole shoot is just some indie feature film. And the production is really scuffed. Even though it's huge, it's a huge production, a lot of things are very messy, and there are multiple PAs, and I met another Hong Konger there, whose name is Barry. And turns out PAs are the only ones not getting paid. Everyone else gets paid. we are essentially free labor. What? Where's everyone? And I didn't know this, but the first day is literally an overnight shoot from 4 p.m. till 6 a.m. And it went overtime. It was more than 12 hours. And the working conditions are pretty bad. Honestly, I was able to handle it, but I don't like that it's overnight. So at the end, Barry and I just left. He drove me home, and that's pretty much it. It's not a very great experience, and I don't like being PA. Being a PA on the second feature film, on this shoot, is a little bit worse because I'm taking out trash constantly. So it's trash, 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 and that's my job. And again, there are PAs that do that, but I feel like with what I can do more. So I'm gonna stop it. I can't talk too much today because I need to go to school. So one more thing I would like to mention is the interviews. Because after film 33 ended, it was such a bad experience that me and my friend Tova decided to create a documentary for the class, about the class. And it is the craziest thing both of us had done in human history, basically. And for the documentary, we had to interview people. So from June onwards, we started like texting a bunch of people and interview people. The revenge plan. The revenge plan I mentioned in my last, round 3A summary video. So this is our revenge plan, and we continue to interview people. Some people turned us down, but most people we asked to interview actually said yes. Some of the interviews were pretty subpar because they are not willing to reveal their entire selves in front of camera, but I'm happy with what we got. And right now it's January. Looking back at this revenge plan, right now I see it as some kind of it's not revenge, it's an artistic statement. I think there are a lot of unheard voices in the class, and we sort of have taken the responsibility of letting those unheard voices come out and show perspectives that people haven't seen before, which is, I think, the ultimate goal of this documentary, is to show all sides to the story and not be single-minded. So I'm really excited about this documentary. I'm still doing it, we're still doing interviews, and it's really fucking exciting, and I really love it. Okay, I gotta go to school now. Bye-bye. Alright, so it's January 13th. It's been a couple days, or maybe even a few days since I've last talked, but let's continue. So the revenge plan I and Tova had was quite delicate and complicated because both of us are planning to make a documentary on film 33. And in fact, the reason why this documentary is so important to me is because I feel like this is the ultimate thing that I and Tova have created in our lives in this community college. These film classes are really helpful, they're really beneficial. I think I learned a lot, especially from film 32, but I feel like the biggest takeaway is this documentary. So ever since June we started doing these interviews, and we have pretty much interviewed before I left LA, we have done interviews with 12 people, including me and Tova ourselves. And I'm gonna try my best to name all 12 of them. We start with Leia, and then Eric. There's Naja, Andrew, Dominic, Nick, Theo. Then we have Jonathan, Red, me, and Tova. And then we have Tyler. And we actually interviewed Benny. That's 13 people. Holy shit. So yeah, we definitely interviewed a lot of people. And a lot of them, some of these interviews are kind of underwhelming. Some of them are actually really revelating. But it's just a fantastic thing that we've been doing. She definitely toyed with my feelings, if that's what you're referring to. But You played with my feelings, you lied to me, you know, treated me like shit, and I'm sorry, I just can't do it. Also, just the fact that she walked across the quad to sit beside me, and I got to be beside her and I was smiling, like, I think that's already really good. I think that's good enough. And then afterwards, we went to the Aero Theater. I got myself a physical ticket. It was awesome. We went in, and lo and fucking behold, the moment I walked in, and I see a girl with magenta hair, and I'm already like, fuck off. She is here. Now we enter August, and in mid-August, something terrible happened, or late August, and that is my lease for my apartment has ended. The apartment I was living at in Santa Monica has always been kind of a protection charm, because I have this apartment. I have a bed, I have a bathroom, I have a kitchen, I have things inside, and I can live there, and it's great. But the moment the lease ended, everything goes to shit. And I call this event back to survival mode, where essentially I did not renew my apartment, because if I renew it, it will go to May of 2024. I am not going to stay in Santa Monica until May 2024. So my only option is to leave. Now, because I'm planning to go back to Hong Kong in mid-September, so from late August to mid-September, I need to stay somewhere. So of course, my first thought is Airbnb. And holy fucking ballsacks, is this a nightmare, because booking an Airbnb in Los Angeles is probably one of the stupidest things you can ever do. A lot of Airbnbs here are extremely overpriced, they're very hard to access, and it's very difficult and few and far between. And hotel rooms, don't even think about it. They suck pussy. But yeah, Airbnbs in Los Angeles is a pain in the ass for me. I finally found one that is not even extremely pricey, but at least I get private bathroom. At least the room doesn't look terrible, and it doesn't seem like an awful place to live. It's still near the college campus, and that place is pretty near. It's actually even closer to the campus than before. So we moved, and me and my friend Jonah, who is really helpful, I can't thank him enough, we helped move together. Now, it's a very complicated process because half of everything I own will go to a public storage unit, and then half of the other things I own will go to my new Airbnb. Things I need to use constantly, like clothes or freaking, my computer, my phone, charging cables, and then, stuff I need to use, like shower towels and toothbrushes. And then I realized I still need 2/3 of everything I own. Everything else, like, plates and bowls and my blanket, my bed sheet, and stuff like that, they all go to the storage unit. So the move from my apartment to the storage unit is already extremely hectic. It took me a long time to do that. And then the next moving day, a couple days later, Jonah came back and we moved everything from my apartment to the Airbnb, and that took 12 hours. It's extremely tiring. I had like 5 cuts on my hand after that because I'm a very dramatic person. So even when I do something like moving, I have to injure myself just for the drama. But yeah, fuck me. It's terrible. It's very tiring, and the host of the Airbnb told us the elevator's not working, but it's a lie. It's actually working. She just doesn't want us to use the elevator because she doesn't want us to attract attention. Now we have the next issue, and that is this host. This Airbnb host comes off very nice in the beginning, but you slowly realize that she's a bit of a bad person, perhaps. Literally on, I think, day 2, at night, since moving to that Airbnb, which by the way suck way more. Like, the room is way smaller, it kind of smells, it has ants infested on the wall, and cooking there is a nightmare. But also, the host suddenly showed up to my place and told me to leave because I'm too noisy, and someone from below me is complaining. And so, fuck it, fine, I'll move. So I don't need to pay for extra. She's gonna help me move to a new Airbnb in Westwood. So yeah, it fucking sucks, but you know what? Fuck it, sure. So I moved. I packed everything over the course of a night, and also she expects me to pack everything up within a couple hours. You have to be fucking stupid to think that that's possible. That's not possible. I have my entire apartment's worth of shit. How do I pack it all up within a few hours? But I somehow did, and we somehow packed half of everything I own into her tiny car, and we moved to Westwood. Now, this new Airbnb in Westwood is a lot better. It's spacier, it has a fucking C. But it's still not perfect. Holy fuck. Honestly, I have no idea what the fuck am I gonna do. The Airbnb host, the woman I'm living with, is an old Jewish woman, and she, even though she doesn't believe in Judaism, according to her, she still doesn't like pork, which I respect. But because of that, every time I have to cook something like pork chops or bacons, I need to go downstairs to an apartment downstairs in the same building. And that apartment is lived in by a Ukrainian family. So every time, sometimes I have to cook, I need to go downstairs to cook, which makes everything extremely annoying. But also, cooking upstairs in that kitchen is horrible because that place is dirty as fuck. That might as well be the dirtiest place I've ever lived in. There are earthworms infesting my bathroom sink. It's absolutely terrible. On the second day I moved to the Westwood Airbnb, the AC fucking broke, and the woman thought it's my fault, because of course it's my fault. Of course everything's my fault. And then turns out the AC is not broken. It still works. But since that day on, this Jewish woman and the original Airbnb host kept pestering me to use less AC and to pay $300, which I had to lie to them and tell them, okay, my bank account is not working, but I'll pay when I can. And then I fucking left the country. And I'm glad I did. I don't like lying to people, but desperate times, desperate measures, I had to fucking lie to them because otherwise they have scammed me. But yeah, it was terrible, and I will never live in an Airbnb in LA ever again in my entire fucking life. I'm so glad I live in an apartment right now where I can live on my own. I have my own room, and it's fucking nice. It's nice. There's AC, there's a heater, there's electricity, there's water that's drinkable, bitch. Okay. Now, right before leaving my apartment in Santa Monica, in the last few days, 10 days, 11 days or so, I had new roommates. And it's 2 young Asian girls from the same college that I was studying in. And I have never been treated this well by my roommates before. I always avoid roommates and avoid contact and, whatever. But they are exceptionally nice. Partially because they sort of teamed up and booked these 2 rooms together, but also they decided to throw me a birthday party, and they treated me very well, and we had meals together, and it's like, and they're both Asians, so I feel more culturally connected to them, and it's fantastic. Okay, we're not going on. Okay. And that brings us to September, where for a very brief moment I returned to CMD and I returned to school, even though it's a false alarm. Because if you can recall, the delay plan, the strategy is to take some classes in September and then drop them immediately. So the classes I take. And returning to CMD is weird. It's like returning to the land of the tainted. It's like a cursed place. It's kind of trippy and surreal, but it's very interesting. I don't know why, but like at the end of 2022, CMD is my home. I feel comfortable in it. At the end of 2023, it's cursed, it's tainted, and I can no longer look at it the same way again. But whenever I return, I feel like a veteran. I feel like I've been through so much that every single corner of this campus, every single room just has some sort of memory attached to it. Then we have the Letterboxd incident. Out of funniness, I decided to add my Film 33 short film on Letterboxd. And I didn't even do it out of spite. It's not like a, strategy to fight the professor. It's not. It's fun. I want my friends to have credits on Letterboxd, so I decided to do it. And literally a few days later, Benny called me and was like, "Enoch, was it you who added the short film to Letterboxd?" And at first I tried to deny it, but I'm like, yeah. So our professor, Kuchio, found out, and he's really angry and he wants to sue me, and he's speaking to the police, which is very overdramatic. And it just goes to show how sensitive and vulnerable and how much of a small ego he has, or more like big ego for a small man, or something like that. And I'm like, fine, so I decided to take them down. And it's just really stupid, but it was definitely, I wasn't that scared. I just thought it's really funny. And I did see him. I don't know if he knows it's me. Benny swore that he's gonna protect my identity, but he also told me that eventually Kuchio will find out, because he's like an octopus with 30-something tentacles, and it's secretly tapping into all these people groups. So Kuchio, he has spies. He has spies around the school, and it's scary. Found out about it, and is freaking out right now, and he wants to sue. He's talking to his lawyers, and he's talking to the police. He immediately called Drew, he immediately called Birkin, and he called Benny. But yeah, I took my final class on September 9th, and it is a very satisfying ending, because on the final class, not only did I get to hang out with Cliff and Justin and a couple other people who are really nice, but I and Chiara, this Italian woman, had a 2-hour-long conversation about the monster, who, if you can recall, I am trying to recover from. And we had such a deep and personal conversation. I totally was not prepared for that, but she's really nice about it, and she told me her experience with her, and then that sort of reflected my experience with her, and it's almost like both of us are victims of this young Chinese girl. But at the same time, we don't hate her, because hatred begets hatred, and I feel sorry for her, and that's sort of the extent of our feelings, and we still feel this way till this day, and it's really nice. 3, 2, 1.
With film 5.
Yo.
It was only one class.
And finally, on September 18th, I have returned to Hong Kong, which I was really excited about. I was struggling. There was a tiny period of time where I was like very anxious, and I was crying because I didn't know if I wanted to stay in LA or go back to Hong Kong. So I made a gigantic Google spreadsheet sort of listing out the pros and cons of staying versus leaving. Everything's pointless here. Everything's fucking meaningless. Nothing I do means anything. And also, for the last 7 months, I don't feel like I'm real. Again, I have 10 great reasons for me to leave, and then I have 10 great reasons for me to stay. Leaving LA is better. Mainly 2 things. One is money. I'm saving so much money by leaving LA because LA is too fucking expensive. B, mental health. And I feel like this is even more important is Film 33 has drained so much life force from me that I desperately needed a break. I can't take this anymore. So I returned to Hong Kong on September 18th, and it's amazing. The first week of being back in Hong Kong is heavenly, I think. Even though Hong Kong politically is not at a very good place right now, but everything else is fucking amazing. I get to go back to my bedroom, and it's so comfortable. I feel like I'm at home. I speak Cantonese to everyone now. The place, the streets, these are the streets I grew up on. They're what I know. And the food is so great for cheap. And the public transportation. You know, it is only until I've gone and lived in LA and then come back to Hong Kong I realize how amazing Hong Kong really is. I'm back in my room once again. This is surreal. I'm also the MTR, the buses, they're so fast, they're so quick, and everything's cheaper there aside from the rent, but I don't need to rent anything. I live in my own apartment that my parents own. It's amazing, and the first week is great. However, the rest of my stay in Hong Kong, for exactly 3 months, by the way, from September 18th to December 18th, the rest is boring. Because when I came to Hong Kong, I also had high expectations. I thought that this is finally my redemption arc. I wanted to get multiple part-time jobs and earn as much money as I possibly can, because I finally can work. Unlike in the US, where I have the F1 international student visa and working is illegal here, in Hong Kong I can work legally, like a functioning member of society, for fuck's sakes. So I wanted a lot of work. I also wanted to meet interesting people. I feel like I never got to do that in Hong Kong. I got to do that here, but not in Hong Kong. My expectations were too high. Finding jobs is very difficult. So obviously I ended up having about 4 part-time jobs. The first one is my mom's company, and that's a given. I earned quite a bit of money there. In fact, most of the money I've earned in that period of time is from my mom's company, but I didn't like it because it's basically nepotism, and I don't want that, and I feel like it's unfair. So another thing is my mom's friend has another friend who has a production company, and it's essentially editing videos, and it's really boring. It's like editing YouTube videos for the government or for like some company, and it's promotional work, and it's very corporate. It's very boring, but there's one time where we were invited to a school, to a music school, to film a bunch of students sing and perform Christmas carols. That day was really fun. I was really sleep deprived that day, but it's kind of awesome because that is the most filming I've done in Hong Kong. And that's another thing, I tried so fucking hard to look for filming opportunities, and at last, nothing. And when going to Hong Kong, I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go into Hollywood and go into Hong Kong film industry at the same time. Imagine having the power to do that. Imagine having the ability to enter 2 film industries at once. That's crazy. And that was sort of my dream. I wanted to build connections in Hong Kong, make film friends. Maybe I can find a friend in Hong Kong who can be my DP. Maybe I can find producer friends in Hong Kong. Maybe I can have cinephile friends. But no, and no. I met nobody. Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm not proactive enough, but that's fucking wrong. I'm very fucking proactive. I tried so hard looking for film sets. I went onto Facebook groups. I DM'd people so that I could visit a film set, and no fucking response. 0. None. I tried really hard. I tried really hard to look for filming opportunities. I was so desperate The fact that I went to Facebook groups just to talk to random strangers and ask them if I can join them just shows how desperate I am, because I never do that. So Fruit Chan is a director in Hong Kong, and my mom knows a producer guy who works for Fruit Chan, and I got to visit their film set for one day, which was very exciting for me. Maybe this is my big break, but hell no. First of all, this is a tiny film set. It has like 20-something people, and it's lame. It's Fruit Chan. Seeing Fruit Chan in person is great, but he's using his iPhone to film, so the entire camera team is gone, and everyone's sort of lame. Like, they're probably good at their jobs, but they don't have, it's like they're doing film just for the money. And I feel like that's true for 99% of all film productions in Hong Kong. People are doing it for money. If LA is the city of dreams, Hong Kong is the anti-dream city. Nobody has dreams or passion in Hong Kong. And on top of that, they are already in a group of friends. It's not like I can randomly walk in and become part of them. So on that film set, I just stood at the side and watched them for like 3 hours. It's really boring, and I learned nothing. I learned zero, pretty much. And that's pretty much the only time I got to be on a film set. The other time was I went to my mom's working place, and it's kind of like a studio, kind of like a sound stage, and I helped some people wrap up some cables and like close some C-stands, but that's it. They're students. I cannot just randomly walk in and join them. I don't even fucking study in Hong Kong. So I give up. There are no possible filmmaking opportunities in Hong Kong. It's empty, hollow, barren wasteland, and I talked to another person who is already kind of in the film industry in Hong Kong. He told me to just stay at LA. There's nothing in Hong Kong for me. It's a dead wasteland. And then we have the job hunting. It continues because I also wanted to tutor people, tutor students in English. I want to be an English tutor. And for the first month, I tried really fucking hard. I downloaded multiple apps, and I sent a lot of messages, desperately looking for opportunities to find students who need an English tutor. And finally in October, I found a couple. There's one that I've been following since late October, and that one went really well. She's a Form 2, so she's like 14-year-old girl, and I helped her with English, and that one went pretty well because she's nice and we got along well, and I also got to hone my teaching skills, which I never got to do anyways. I was never a teacher. This is kind of my first time. The parent confirmed it. I got it. Guys, I got it. I got a third job. Then we have this Form 4, so he's like 16 years old boy from Beijing. Kind of a nightmare. He doesn't speak Cantonese at all. It's Mandarin all the way, and his mom kept canceling on me. So much so that I was only able to tutor him once, and since then she kept coming up with new excuses, like, oh, my son is sick. My son is camping. My son is doing sports somewhere. My son is doing renewing his card. And then at some point she started ghosting me. I contacted the app, the company who linked us up, and that company tried to call the mom, and the mom even ghosted them. So near the end of November, I finally landed another person, and it's another Chinese girl, also a Form 5, so 17, 18 years old. And she can understand Cantonese. It's a little bit better, but still I was only able to tutor her 3 times or twice, and that's it. So I didn't earn any money at all. 3 times. I was able to earn a little bit, but yeah, overall, my goal was to earn 20,000 Hong Kong dollars. I ended up earning 19,000, which is not bad. For 3 months, with 4 part-time jobs, not bad. But yeah, in terms of meeting interesting people, none. I went to a Halloween event with Zara and her friend, which is kind of scary. Like, oh my god, like what the fuck's gonna happen? Are we all gonna come together, just a bunch of young adults and teenagers, and we're gonna start snorting cocaine and stripping? Thank God that never happened. Not even close. We just played some silly games and that's it. It's fun while it lasted, but I didn't meet anyone interesting there, and it's not like anything interesting is happening.
Look at me, I'm killing it.
Then me, Zara, her friend, and her friend's friend, 5 of us went to Halloween together. We went to Lan Kwai Fong, which is the clubbing district of Hong Kong for Halloween, and it's fun. I cosplayed as someone. I don't even know what that someone is, but I cosplayed as something, and it's fun while it lasted, but it's also kind of a disappointment in that I didn't have that much fun. I thought it's going to be a crazy experience for me because I've never visited Lan Kwai Fong for Halloween. That place is like the equivalent of Shibuya. Everyone in Tokyo goes to Shibuya for Halloween. In Hong Kong, it's Lan Kwai Fong. I even went drinking. I cosplayed, but it's just like I didn't have as much fun as I thought I would. I don't know why. On top of that, I think the only amazing thing that happened to me was the Hong Kong Asian Film Festival, which is a film festival that came out of nowhere. I had no idea this film festival existed until like very recently, before the festival started. And holy shit, the Korean actor Song Kang-ho showed up, and it's crazy. I saw him in the flesh, and on top of that, I saw Iwai Shunji, the Japanese director, and Yakusho Koji, the Japanese actor. And I also got to see a few films in that festival, and while those tickets cost, I think it is a fantastic experience to be able to see these films on a big screen. I had a lot of fun, and I just really wish I had met someone interesting, like a fellow cinephile, but I never did. But instead what happened was I ran into the same director twice. He doesn't know me, but I ran into him twice on 2 separate days, which is hilarious. But yeah, even though the first week of Hong Kong was really relaxing, the rest was boring, and we hit a bit of a low point emotionally in November, in mid-November. So I and Zara and Miriam and Leia, us 4, we watched a movie together and we had dessert together. And in that movie theater, we ran into Zane, who was a girl who was my classmate for a couple of years, from 2014 to 2016. And she recognized me, but she forgot my name. And that sort of triggered something in me, like, holy shit, right. I was a young boy in the past, and I was sad. And she told us that there's open day, which is basically where our school, our secondary school, opens up and everyone can just walk into it. And there are a lot of exhibitions. It's kind of like the Japanese equivalent of Culture Festival. It's kind of the same thing, honestly. Except the point of open day is to attract newcomers. It's to attract parents so that they can send their kids to this school. And they told us to go visit, and I wanted to, but I suddenly or gradually started to remember how sad and pathetic and angry I was when I was studying in that school. And in mid-November, I started to spiral down into a bit of an emotional low point where for a couple weeks I was very sad. And there are so many things. I didn't earn as much money as I wanted to. I didn't meet any interesting people. No filmmaking opportunities. And Natalie and Cedric, who are arguably 2 of my most important friends, they're treating me like I'm a stranger. They don't text me. They do nothing to me. And it's like they don't care about me anymore. And also, in LA, I have confidence because I do filmmaking, and I'm pretty confident in filmmaking. But in the real world, you know, I feel like a loser always. I can cook, but the food is garbage. I can try to survive on my own, but I'm barely surviving. And Natalie has a boyfriend again, and she has a job. Cedric has an internship, and this person is having a driver's license. And then Grant and Tyrus have girlfriends now, and they did things together. And meanwhile, there's me. I'm lonely. I am a loser, and my self-esteem went really low. It hit rock bottom. And that's mainly because living in LA gives you the illusion that you're good. Living in Hong Kong is the reality check. I've never respected myself all my life. The self-respect I experience here is fake. It's not real. And I don't know why. Like, what did I deserve to look so bad? Like, what the fuck, you know? I don't know. I just suddenly, a lot of insecurities hitting me again. Like, I just feel lame, I don't know, bad sleep or whatever, and which results to bad muscle building. Like what's wrong with me? I don't know. You know how I thought that a year in the USA, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna have a girlfriend and I'm gonna be like buff and strong. I'm gonna have super long hair. I'm gonna look gangster as fuck. But instead, I just look disheveled, homeless, still lonely, still unemployed, no life. But I think what I've achieved in the last semester though is already really impressive. My cousin, my elder cousin, who's not older than me, but he is the older one of the two, has a girlfriend now in the UK, and she's from Taiwan, and you know he's cooking for her, and I sort of knew that this is coming, and it's normal. In fact, for people like him, it's already late. I'm 21. I believe he's 19. If that's like his first girlfriend, it's already like kind of late. For me, it's like, okay, I might as well jump off a cliff. God damn, I must be a terrible person. I must be terrible at living in general. Like, just existing. Like, I'm bad at existing in life. And I guess the time will come. They always say the same goddamn thing. Oh, you'll find someone. You'll find the one. And it's such bullshit. On top of that, I feel sad. I feel melancholic. I don't know why. I just think I'm bored as hell. I feel like I haven't truly achieved what I want to achieve by coming back to Hong Kong. And it gets even more depressing when I think about going to USC and all I can think about is going to Ralph's, walking back to my apartment. I feel soulless. In LA, I feel like I don't have a soul. In here, I feel bored and I feel purposeless. It's like wherever I go, there's nothing. It's almost like it's impossible for me to be happy. I don't know why do I feel so melancholic right now, but I just feel like I'm wasting time, and even if I'm not wasting time, I'm still wasting time, if you know what I mean. I would rather it takes place naturally, and I feel like that is going to happen 0% chance in Hong Kong. In USC, maybe a little bit. So, you know what? Have some patience. Think about something else. Just fuck it all. Again, in the USA, I'm going up. I'm in the government. I'm in the kingdom. I'm in the royal family. In here, I'm nothing but a beggar. Now, good thing is, because of my mom, I get to go see big movie sets. But just like a normal situation, a weary traveler wearing rugged clothes can't suddenly enter a royal palace. I mean, they can watch if they're lucky, but they can't suddenly go in. What if after I graduate, maybe in 2025 or 2026, I come back and we all come together, you know, for one big reunion? I want to show them that, hey, look at how much Enoch has changed. This silly, goofy guy that you never cared about, I am a better, stronger person now. But I can't even say that anymore because they probably don't even remember how I was like before. And that's the thing with human change. Your life is insignificant, and then it is significant because you've changed, and then it's insignificant again because you've changed so much that suddenly your past doesn't even matter. Maybe they would faintly remember that I was a skinny, whiny loser, but they probably wouldn't even care. And that led me into a bit of a spiritual moment. I wouldn't say spiritual, but I think partially it was like I started to explore Buddhism and the idea that we're all empty inside, because I felt very empty at that moment. But also just learning to accept and embrace emptiness, learning to understand that without filmmaking, I'm no one. I'm not an important person. I'm not great at everything. I'm not that attractive. I'm not a strong person with big bulging muscles. I am not a successful person with a lot of Instagram followers. I'm not earning a lot of money. I don't have a driver's license, but that's okay. Just embrace it. Just accept it and move on, because who the hell are you? I watched a lot of motivational videos on YouTube. And after some phone calls and after some thinking, I was able to get out of this emotional low point, but with a few takeaways. One is embrace it. And I think that's the only takeaway, really. Yeah, I don't have a girlfriend. I'm lonely. But so what? Why is that a bad thing? You know? Like, yeah, you know, having a lot of relationships is great, you know? Because someone cares about you and, you know, you care for that someone and, you know. But who cares? Like, if I can live, if I can eat food and sleep and enjoy my time by watching movies and listening to music, then so be it. I shouldn't look at other people and be angry that they have things that I don't have, because if I keep doing that, it's never going to end. It's just a non-stop snowball of jealousy. Instead, I should look at what I have now and be happy with it. Yeah, it's a pathetic thought. It's like being happy with whatever you own and not moving on. But in this day and age, when everything in life is so difficult, that is the best I can do. So yeah, I'm a little mad that I don't have a lot of money, and by going to USC, my parents are paying, and I feel so guilty. And I want to repay them so much, and I don't know how. But what I'm happy about is that I have supportive parents, and I get to go to such a good school. So at least I should be happy about that. So yeah, I got out of this emotional low point, and one thing I had to do is to make a short film. Obviously, I'm a filmmaker, so I filmed a little bit for one day, and honestly, it's nice. Because I had a lot of time to prepare for that, and it was sort of an artsy shoot, but I was able to find actors, I was able to find locations, I had the gear, we rolled, and it's great. It's not the best shoot I've done, but I think it's not bad. And another thing is, right before leaving, I decided to reconnect with Natalie and Cedric, who, again, it's like they don't care about me anymore. They don't text me unless I text them first. And even so, they will give one-word responses, or they just read and don't text back, because I'm not important to them. This Enoch guy, he's like some random dude from the past, and, you know. But you know what? Instead of thinking like they don't care about me anymore and I'm a loser, I should think the opposite. They don't care about me. I should make them care about me. Maybe I am the person who has the power to be proactive, to be nice to them. And yeah, they're not nice to me, but that's not going to stop me from being nice to them and show them my kindness. maybe I'm the one who should be actively texting them and calling them, even if they're not doing the same to me. So that's sort of like my new mentality now. I shouldn't be passive anymore. I should like extend my kindness to others, because that's like a good thing to do. I am getting so fat. So much food. Oh my god. Slither of hope. It's a beautiful sunset. And I think that reaches the final point and the final ending of 2023. Self-improvement. I don't think I'm attractive. I don't think I'm strong. But I can try. If there are things that I have a bit of control in, I will try. So I'm working out. Like in Hong Kong, I started working out. I did pike push-ups, which is the kind of push-ups that broaden your shoulders, because I feel like my shoulders are not broad enough. I did my hair. I had down perm so that it doesn't like explode, so that I would look better. At least I do a little skincare. It still needs some work, but you know, it's gotten better. I shave now regularly every week. I'm trying to read more books so that I develop this habit of reading books. I'm trying to practice drawing so that I can develop a new habit, a new hobby. And I just think I'm 21 right now, and if there's a time for me to self-improve and go out and be better, now is the time. So honestly, even though 2023 for the most part is pure emotional torture, and I remember the days where I have facial hair all over my face, not really all over, but you get what I mean, and I would cry, and I would be skinny, and I would eat garbage, and I would simp a crazy girl and have no spine. I'm over with those days. I'm on my own now. If I have new friends and relationships, great. If not, who cares? Who fucking cares? If I have a job, well-paid job, great. If not, it hurts, but who cares? Who cares? And I'm going to just try to improve myself, be happier, be healthier, and just make more friends, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens in 2024. Now, on December 18th, I returned to LA. And I know that's 2023, but technically it's round 4. So I can't talk about what happened just now. But you'll see what happens. Half a year later, I'll talk about that. So, how's your 2023? Comments below, let me know, subscribe if you want more, and thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.